Hello, everyone. Welcome to Amplifying F Sharp. This is our weekly Friday session, and where we try to make a difference in the F Sharp ecosystem. And the way that we try to achieve this is by fixing or investigating issues that we found in any open source, F Sharp open source. So today I will be working on a compiler bug or improvement that I am investigating. So yeah, but before I go more in detail, this is our website, amplifyingfsharp.io. In here, you can see our mission statement. You can read about, the incitation of why we are doing this. You can also see multiple other initiatives that we are running, like the F Sharp Essentials, where you can learn F Sharp from the ground with watching at your own speed some basic lectures, like how do you can set up your IDE, what are the code types from F Sharp, pattern matching and functions, and so on and so forth. So yeah, check this out. We have a range of videos that we can rewatch, and yeah, that's F Sharp Essentials. We also have a burnout initiative where we want to encourage you to reach out to us if you have a library, you have a project in F Sharp that you are kind of not going to be able to continue working on that, and you want to find a new maintainer or a new house to your project. So instead of that project to be unmaintained and disappear, you just basically can we can help you to find a new home for that project. As well, we have been using Open Collective for the last don't know exactly how many months, but maybe 3 months or something, and we have received a really great support from all of you out there. We are able to cover the costs of the the Zoom call, the cost of the domains that we have for amplifying F Sharp. We can also, are looking into working with the community for more initiatives, like we are currently working with the possible F Sharp tool that will be developed for F Sharp, and as well maybe some improvements in the F Sharp interactive front. So yeah, we will keep you up to date with that. We are working on a couple of initiatives, but for now, we just need to basically finalize those ones. I want to thank the last couple of days we have received a couple of donations, and I think David, you can give us a special shout out to one of our donors.
Yeah, thanks for the donation from Samuel, and yeah, blanking on the other name currently, but yeah, it's nice to see people keep coming to our initiatives for sure, and yeah, we will try to make the most out of the money for yeah, just keep tuned. We know we haven't done an update in the last couple of weeks, but there's definitely something coming. Yeah.
Thank you, David. Yeah, we are working on the background to make something happen. So right. Yes, so for today, I want to keep improving and investigating the way that the F Sharp compiler uses attribute targets. We already had a session, think maybe a month or something. Yes, this compiler does not enforce attribute targets, and the more I investigate this, the more I realize that the current way that the F Sharp compiler deals with this, it's just zero to none So there are, the checks are too generalized, so they are not really restrictive in terms of making sure that you are using the right targets for the right things. So, and also this is a good opportunity to show the changes that were released on the F#, I think 8.0.300, and that was the F# compiler released recently. So yeah, you can go to the F# compiler guide, the release notes, and you can see here what was released on the 300 and what is going to be in the 400. So yeah, please check this out if you're going to be up to date to what the team and the community is working on. So let's start by kind of show what was happening before and what is happening now. So what I have here is a simple console app that it is showing some samples of what's the state. So I'm going to not enable preview and just show you that there are many things here that are compiling that shouldn't be compiling. And, with all the changes that we have been doing the last couple of months, we are now, if you enable the language preview feature, you are going to see some new errors. And that is something that, you need to be aware, and that will be, it's for the best. You can work from there. So we have all of this is compiling. I'm going to go in a little bit of detail in a few seconds, but I just want to show you that all of this is compiling code, and everything seems to be fine. So, but if I enable the preview feature and I go back, and now we are going to see, some errors that will ensure that the attribute targets are properly checked in the compiler. So the first one is ensure that the enforce attribute targets on functions. And I think we already discussed this in the last session, but I just wanted to show you how that the IDE is now able to consume those changes from the latest release, and that's how you're going to see this. And in here, it's going to use the default error message that the compiler is already using that says the attribute is not valid for this language element, which is true, but it doesn't really give you more information. So that's one thing that is in my to-do list. I want to create an issue that will improve this by saying something like, this attribute is not valid for this language element. This can only be used for this, or for this scenario, or rework this in a more meaningful way. But for now, we just are going to use what is the existing error message there, and which is okay for now. So here now you cannot apply. So if we go to SharpLab and check that what is a value and what is a function in F#, you will see that we have created here a method only attribute, and here when we have a let binding function that has a parameter here, in this case is basically unit, but you can have something like X here, and this will be A to string, which is a function. If we see this in SharpLab, this will be compiled down to a method. So this can only be used in a method. So this is used in the right scenario. Now, if you see the method only cannot be applied to a value because this is not the right usage here. So then we will need to, you will see this error here. And this is especially useful, for example, when if you are writing unit test and you forget to, if you're using end unit or X unit and you use the fact attribute there, and previously you can have, I don't know, hundreds of unit tests, but if you don't use this on a function, those unit tests will be ignored or won't appear in your test coverage. So this is, the main reason why I fixed this issue was because of that. I realized that in my code base, I had, I think it was 8 or 10 unit tests that weren't being, run or won't be part of the coverage because the compiler didn't, tell me, hey, you are using the fact attribute was only available for methods, but I was applying this to a value. But that's basically it. Same here. This shouldn't be possible. Same here when we are using a discriminating union and we want to add a attribute to a field. If you compile down this, if you see this in SharpLab, this be compiled down to a property. So you cannot use a method targeted attribute in a field because this is a property. There's a caveat, you can use that, but for that you will need to this is compiled down to a method. So if you see this in SharpLab, this is a property in C#, when you compile down to C#, and this is a method. So now we are ensuring that you are using method targeted attribute only for when it's needed, and that will give you more hint. And I think there was I saw a bug raised in a library recently. Maybe it was Argo or something like that, where someone enabled the preview, the language preview flag, and then their solution wasn't compiling anymore. And the reason is because that library didn't add the method target were in the attribute that they were creating. Moving on, this will be a new error in the next, if you enable preview version, where you were even allowed to put a custom method attribute or attribute that is using method target in an implicit constructor. And this is just, again, the same story. There is the check wasn't that really accurate in the compiler, and so you can basically use some attributes everywhere where that shouldn't be the case. So now this should be rightly, you will have a proper error for this now. Another one was the delegate. You were allowed before to use a class, a struct, an interface, an enum on a delegate, which shouldn't be the case because all of these they need to be constrained and they need to be a proper check for this. So this is now the same. You will get a proper error if you use the wrong attribute target on a specified delegate type. This is about enums, the same. Before we could use a struct, we could use a class, we could use an interface, we can use a delegate, targeted attribute target on a enum, which again doesn't make any sense. So now we have these proper errors there. For today's session, I want to, any questions so far from what I have explained? No, don't see any questions, so we can continue. Let me drink. Nice. So for today's session, I want to investigate records and unions. So I want to make sure that we can use attribute target.class, attribute target.struct in the right scenarios, and not just allowed to run, anything. So for this, we will need to investigate a little bit on SharpLab, how a record is compiled down to C#, and see the different variants, like a struct record, a normal record, and then we can also do that for the discriminated unions. We are not going to be checking the discriminated union fields or the record fields. We are just going to stay at the type definition level, right? So let's see what we have here. We have a class target attribute. We have a interface target attribute. We have a struct target attribute, and then we have a record here that is using the three of them, and all of them are working fine. Now, my question is, for once they are in the chat or for YouTube, should this be allowed? Should we be allowed to use a interface constraint attribute target with the record, or shouldn't we be able to use a struct attribute target on a record? And the answer for that is well, we need to check what is this part here. What is this? Is this when we compile it down, is it a interface? Is it a struct, or is it a class? I mean, the answer is obvious, but let's check it anyway. Right, so this is SharpLab, so you can visit sharplab.io and select F# here. You have here C#, F#, Visual Basic, all that stuff. So this is a record, and this is compiled down to a select class. But select is irrelevant for us, but this is the important part. This is a class. So based on what I have done in the past with the attribute targets, and as we are only checking for the type definition, we should only constrain that to the attribute target.class and raise an error if you are using an interface, you're using a delegate, you're using an enum, you're using a field, so on, so forth, right? So that should be one thing that we can improve in the compiler to see if that's the case. Then let's do another one. Let's add maybe here because we know that there are struct the records. So let's see what's going on here. So we'll go here. We can see that it's now no longer a class, it's now a record, right? So we know that we need to account for if the record is a normal record, we should only check for the attribute target.class. If it's a struct, we need to check allow only structs for the attribute targets. And then there might be cases where there are already attributes defined on F# core, like require qualified access. We need to make sure that those attributes have the right attribute targets, because I have found in previous PRs that some of the existing attributes that are on F# core, they don't have the right attribute targets, and the reason being is because before this was just the Wild West. You can put almost any attribute targets on almost anything. So those attributes on F# core, they might not have the right one. So we will see what the CI says, and then we can discuss with the team and all of that. But just to show the point is like so we have the require qualified access. All right, so this is yeah, this should be okay. We have, let's see. Yeah, this is not really relevant here now, but yeah, we just need to make sure that that attribute will be once we do our changes, that we can still use the require qualify access on item both on the records on the this community units. So first thing we can do is write a unit test. Start with a test that we can check that our assumptions of what I just explained, it actually makes sense. So let me remember where I did put my unit test. So I think I did some work already on this, just to make it easy for us to work with this. So I created a file on the test sources on the what is the name of this name? fsharcompile.compiler.component test, where most of the tests will be situated. And this here, it is kind of having the same scenario that I just picture on the console app. We have a class target attribute, we have an interface target, and we have a struct target, and then we have the record, and then we have a struct record. So where we expect this to fail, and I know this expect to fail because the convention is put an E in front of the name of the file, and this means that we are expecting errors here. There is another, looking at the conventions, you can also see that there is attribute targets is class, and attribute target, is something. And in here we put the code that we expect to be fine. So here I just added, for example, a record that has a custom class, which is okay because this is compiled down to a class that is using as well the required qualify access, just to make sure that we don't regress, and as well as the record one here. So let me run the tests and see how many of the tests are failing. I'm using my laptop small screen, so I'm kind of having a little bit hard time trying to fit all of the content on a small laptop. Yeah, should be fine. This will take a little bit of time, but yeah, we will hopefully see a failing test. Actually, no, we won't see any failing test because we haven't implemented what we need for now. So the compiler still thinks that everything is okay. Oh, no. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay. So which one is failing? Okay. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. So I did write the unit test expecting to fail with the error. So yeah, these should be this is what we expect. We expect this to fail, and for now, we can ignore this for now. But yeah, these are the errors that I am expecting in the respective lines and all that stuff. So yeah, this is succeeding in the compiler, which makes sense because we haven't implemented anything. So next step, as if you have watched our previous sessions, I'm always saying that when the way I look in the on the files on the F# compiler is like there are two files. There are check declaration and there's check expressions. And my area of contributions are mostly, on these two files. I don't really go on, I'm more really getting into the static analysis of the expressions and declarations. So all of we are going to be talking today is the record declaration and union and discriminating union declaration. So I know that we need to look at the check declarations here. And because I have already worked on this in the past, I know that there is a function called type check type on def core something phase one establish basic kind. So this file here, it is establishing, the type the type kind, I guess, in this case, if it's a record, if it's a simple representation like a class, if it's a struct, if it's a enum, if it's a delegate, and so on and so forth. But it is also checking if it's something different than the simple representation. And if we read the logic a little bit, we can see that we are going to be checking. So in this case, it's looking for if it's a struct record union type, because it needs to set a global, I guess. It needs to set, at the entity level, if this is going to be a record or union type, and this is just for this, so it shouldn't be. We don't need to care about for this. If we continue here, we can see that we are checking the representations here, and we have exceptions. Let me promote this. Okay. We are checking for unions. This will be something interesting for us. It's also checking about type abbreviations. It is checking for records. This is where we want to work. But let me show you a little bit more on this function. It is also checking what we covered in previous session, which is the simple representation general. And there is where we have added previously our checks for classes. So here's where we say, okay, I want to only check the targets for the class. I'm going to do this here, and this is behind a preview flag, so this won't really, suppose a problem for if someone just updates the SDK, and yeah, they will see that. In order to see these new improvements, you will need to enable either the preview flag, or if this makes the cut to F#, what's the next version of F#? Really forgot. 9, I think. Yeah, I think it's 9 the next one. So it will be, if it makes a cut, it has the quality and all of that, it will be there. So yeah, we have already done for the delegates, for structs. We have also done this for enums. And my expectation is at some point when I have figured out, the rest of the issues with the attribute targets, I want to maybe create a separate file for this, or move this to the attribute checking file that is in the compiler as well, and try to make this, put this on a single place and more like easy to maintain, rather than having checks, all over the place for now. But yeah, that's the what I'm trying to do now. Okay. So we are going to talk about records. So we can be reasonably confident that when the compiler checks if this is a record, it goes into this case, and we can, try to add our check after we know that this is after we infer that the tycoon kind is record here. We also have the attribute availables here if we need them, as well as the scene attributes, which is what the AST is, where the attributes are going to be represented there. So I did a initial implementation this morning just to see if that makes sense, and I realized that yeah, we need to first of all check for our flag to make sure that we don't introduce any inconsistency in previous versions, and then we need to check for if it's a struct. And yeah, then this check, I'm still not really 100% convinced, because I don't think it should be relevant for the way that we check the possible targets if it has the attribute, the required qualified access attribute on the type itself. It should be irrelevant, but yeah, there might be some issue there that we need to investigate, or I will need to investigate it offline. But yeah, we can for now just to save us some time. And I found out also another kind of no ideal scenario for us is that I updated my fork, and now the compiler requires .NET 9 preview something, and it has messed up my local environment. So yeah, so it is. I will need to compile. I will need to build the solution before I can run the unit test. But yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. Just will take a little bit of time to just run the unit test. But yeah, let's go to the check. And for now, I want to make sure that I am only checking this. Let me comment this out. And for now, what I want is I want to say, okay, is the enforce attribute targets preview flag enabled? Yes. Does it have a struct attribute on top of the record? Yes. If that's the case, please check only and ensure that you can only use structs on that. Otherwise, just classes. And if it doesn't have the preview feature enabled, then continue as before, nothing happens here. So as I said, I will need to just build the F# compiler services solution again. I don't know, I'm not sure why. If I don't do this, it basically says that I don't have access to certain places on the solution, and yeah, it's weird. Maybe something is locked there, but anyway, this is a workaround that will work for us, and we can be sure that at least we can make this happen for now. Well, this is building. I'm currently in Poland, in Krakow, for in preparation for the Lambda days next week. So yeah, if you are in Krakow next week and you want to grab a coffee or talk about F# or amplifying F# or anything, and yeah, just feel free to reach out to me via Twitter or yeah. And we can maybe hang out. There's actually a talk about F sharp in the Lambda days, which is good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the rest of the communities, the functional programming communities are up to, and see some familiar faces from different communities. That's exciting. See, still there. And this issue only happens when I'm using preview versions. Every time it is a stable version, it actually it works okay. Everything right is able to uh, pick everything up and all of that. But as well, when I open when I opened the solution with Rider, I saw a message saying that .NET 9 is not fully supported. So I guess it's just the way it is for now. Um, Yep. The only editor for now, I think that supports that was it's consuming the F# the latest F# compiler services is Ioni. Ioni, I'm able to see all the warnings, and I think did they update recently to the latest version? I think so, because I am able to see all the all the changes that I did there. While in Rider, I only see them if I build the solution. Anyway, now let's go back to attribute usage and run the unit test. Come on. See? And now I'm expecting to see some errors on the attribute on this, and then the other test where we were testing, that everything should be fine. I don't expect to see any error there, but we will see exactly. So we expect only one test to fail. Okay, for now, 1, 2. What is the other one? The other one is the attribute target plus. This is it. And yeah, as I explained before, I think something is up with the required qualified access attribute. We need to check if the attributes the targets are correctly set up on this attribute on F# code. But yeah, for now, let's focus only on the other error to make it pass for now, and then we can go on. So this is expecting 4 errors, and it is we didn't basically we have none on the here. So yeah, I did kind of cheat a little bit because I did already run this, but yeah, just to show you this. So now if I put the attribute usage and the error side by side, we can check that the errors actually make sense. So we have saying line 15. Line 15 is the interface target. Is it the error that we expected? Yes, it is, because this is a class behind the scenes, and then we shouldn't be able to use an interface. Now, line 16 is struct. Is Is this type a struct? No. So you shouldn't be able to use this. And then there's no error on line 17, which means that it's okay because this is a class on when it's compiled down, and then it should be okay. And then we have an error on line 20, which is the class. And is this a class? No, it is a struct because we are using the struct attribute here. So we should only expect an error on line 20 and 21. And that is exactly what was happening. We have a error on line 20 and in 21. So yeah, we have successfully, kind of raise an error when it's supposed to be. So that part it's okay for us now. Now there is now. Do you know, David, or does anyone know in the chat if there is any other attribute that we can apply to a record like this struct that will modify the type representation when it's compiled down to a C#? The only one I know is a struct because it will compile down to a class. Sorry, it will compile the struct rather than a class, but I haven't really, and I did some digging this morning. I haven't found any other, attribute that will really affect that.
I also can't think of one. Only the compiled name, but that's just the name. So
yeah, but yeah, I don't think there's, for example, this. It is compiling down to a struct here. And then if I remove this, it is compiling down to a class. So, but yeah, that's the only one I found. And well, the easy way to do this is by just running this to the CI and see if the CI picks anything up from this. And also I will read the specification thing, because that's also a good way to make sure that this is working fine. So yeah, okay, so now if we rerun the tests, hopefully I won't need to build the solution again, but yeah, let's see. Now we should only have one test failing. And in the meantime, I need to look for something called prim FSI. Prim, it's something like prim types. And then on here, let's wait for the test to pass. Nice. So it did pass. So the test that was failing before now is passing, and then we have only one failing. Let's actually see what is the error. So this is saying that in line 32, it is using an attribute that is not valid for this language element. So if I go to the attribute class and check for line 32, let's see what it says. 32 is the required qualified access, but it only fails when it's struct. So that is the confusing part to me. So it's not complaining when you are using a normal record. It is only complaining when you set the struct attribute. So yeah, let's investigate a little bit that one. So let's look for the required qualified access. So this file, the prim-types.fs, it is where most of the attributes are defined on F# core. So if I go Control F on this, then we can see that this is where the required qualified access is defined, and this has a class That's good because you can use a we need to make sure that this is only this can be used in a class. It we need to also make sure that this is used in a struct, which is okay. This is what's happening currently. And also this also need to be checked that can be used on an enum. But on an enum seems, I mean, this is not really relevant for what we're trying to fix, but an enum, can we use, shouldn't we check for an enum? An enum, by definition, you cannot access to to the enum field. So you need to always use the name of the of the enum definition to access to its field. So it is a little bit, I don't think that's correct, but anyway, it's not really important for us now. So in theory, the required qualify access has the right attribute targets. So this shouldn't be the issue for this shouldn't be the cause for our unit test failing. Now there must be a another there must be another place where we are also checking for the record attribute targets after our current check. So something must be overriding what we are already checking. So that is something that we can investigate. And for now, I know that, for example, we can do something like this. So if I go to the possible targets, and then I will go to this, and then I will go to the type check attribute extension, and we go down. I can put a breakpoint on the actual line that is triggering this issue. So this here this is the place where we are raising the error. The error that we see on the unit test, it is this line. So we can try to put a breakpoint here and then look at the call stack to see, if we are able to identify if there are multiple places where we are doing the check. So let's do that. Let me put a breakpoint on this one. And to make sure that we're at least hitting this one. And there is also one here that this is the one that it is happening now, which is the one that checks for the attributes, checks for the targets, but this is the funny part, that we are checking here and we are basically just using this check to get the final attributes and then the attributes. And for that, we're basically using the less, I would say, restrictive check. What that means is like, yeah, give me the attributes for a class, an interface, a delegate, all of this stuff, but it's not actually ensuring that you are only calling the targets in the right place. So this is not really useful at the moment. So yeah, let's debug this. Hopefully Rida will hold, and we will be able to see this. Oh, yeah, something's happening. maybe get in there. You can do it. All right. So where we at? So we have successfully reached no, we have successfully reached the breakpoint. So we are inside of a flag, and we know that's struck, and then we should be yeah, it should be. So if I press next, it is actually showing the that error. So let's see if we are hitting this twice. Ah, yeah, just realized something. Uh, just realized something. This this is using error. So this is stopping all the execution or all the analysis, let's say, and then show these errors. So if something happened after this, we won't be able to see this because it's just an error. It's just when it hits this one here, it cannot recover. There's another one called error R that will allow you to recover. But if we do that, we will also need to do this. And also if there's anything around here. Hmm. Right. So what else we can do? Because it seems like there's no double analysis. It's just that there seems to be the struct attribute seems to change the way that the code chain is done. The code generation is done. It changes the you know to what is going to be compiled down. So which makes sense. It's just setting that as a struct. So there are a couple of things that we can do for this. The easy one will be and then ask for the or maybe in the PR to the abstract team is like, is that the case? Do we really need to check for the attribute for the has record qualified access attribute on this check? Because in my opinion, it shouldn't matter, but it is it is affecting the check in our case. So uh, let's do the easy way first, which is like, okay, I want to know, let's check for the required qualified access attribute, and for that you can use a helper function called has fshar attributes, and here you will pass the the TC globals, and then you can check for the well-known required qualified access attribute. Using this flag and the has struct flag, and then you can use these flags on here. So then for this, we could basically now enable this check, and then indent this, and then we will have our check per se, which is going to, I think, make this work. And the only difference is like, hey, we are saying, okay, so if it has the struct and the record qualified access attribute, then we want to lose a little bit the check, and it says, okay, now this record qualified access can be used on a class and can also be used on a struct. So this will make that test happen, and it will also, take into account the difference that we just found. And if it doesn't have, then it's just a struct. So as I change the source code, I will need to build the whole thing again. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't take too much time. Yeah, that's basically pretty much where we're at. And the other thing that we can try is to change the this error reporting to use the recovery part as well, and then run the test again to see, or run the test again to see if we see more after this. One thing I don't really like in the way that the error reporting is done in the abstract compiler is that we abuse too much the error, and it's like the easy way of doing, no, maybe not the easy way, but it is the the less. So once you use error, you will just basically it will stop the analysis for the rest of the file. So you can only you can hide your weak error reporting for the rest of the file by just basically saying error, and then that's it. It's done. No, the rest won't be analyzed. And as an exercise, I encourage anyone to go to places on the abstract compiler and set this to error reporting and run the unit test. So maybe just push this change to the CI, and you will see that there are cases where there will be a lot of more errors reported, and some of them they don't really make sense. But it is good enough for now. But yeah, this is one of my fights, or my like I want to make sure that we have a better error reporting, because when I was learning F#, some of the errors were not really helpful, and yeah, some of the expectations when I was reading the spec, or I was reading blog posts and then look at what the actual code was doing in terms of error reporting was completely different. So. But that's where we're here. We're in amplifying F# to try to make a difference and to try to improve things as we can. Good. Let's see if this is done. Almost there. Mm. Oh yeah, this one, yeah, hopefully with the check, this one will be valid now, and it should be okay for us. While we are doing that, I want to show you something. It's called F#, F# or GitHub. Just wanted to highlight that the member of the community also in collaboration with Amplifying F#, we have been working on having a spec that is not, it has a more easy to consume format. So there is this F# language specification repo where the goal is to get the existing PDF and I think Microsoft Word format into something like Markdown. So yeah, so you can see that there are 15 PRs here, and Martin, which is in my opinion a star because he has done most of the work, and I did help him a bit with a couple of chapters when we were translating this from Markdown from PDF to Markdown. And look at this, he has created a all PRs for all of the different chapters where you can actually have this in the right format. So for example, let's take the expressions here. Now the expressions here, if I go to review PR and then I think there is a way to see the format, right? I think this is the one. So this is, in my opinion, more easy to consume. So you can see that the aspects are actually, in a markdown format. You can link to this, you can accept reviews, you can accept, contributions to this. But yeah, this is what I was expecting, and this is, what the C# language specification is using. It is in the same format, and the rest of the other programming languages also use this. So yeah, this is, my opinion, really good, and hopefully, the team and the Abstract team can, maybe make some time to review this, and yeah, we can get this done. So yeah, that's a shout out I wanted to give. All right, this is done. Now let's go back to this and run the unit tests. And I expect all of the unit tests to pass, or at least this one shouldn't be. This one should pass, and hopefully none of the previous one will be failed. All right, so just to show that I'm not cheating, I'm going to run all the unit tests now, so we can see that, just in case if there is, the rest of the tests are passing as well. Okay. And there we go, 55 or 55 passing. Everything is green. So yeah, so this is a thing where we are going to leave it for now on this session. I just want to investigate a little bit more about this required qualified access attribute. Seems like this is I mean, this is working, but I don't think this might be necessary. So yeah, I might reach out to the Abstract team on the PR or APR on issue to see if that's the case. If this is the case, this is again something that we can improve in F#. So I said in the description that we will be covering discriminating the unions as well, and I'm afraid that the check is actually similar because let's basically go to SharpLab and do this just to make sure that we are that the idea is that we can use the similar check if it's a struct, and then check if it has the required qualified access. But if I say some view and then say case one, this is a class as well, same as the record. I think both have the same representation. And then if you do struct like this, then this is compiled to a struct. So yeah, the check will be identical if that's the case. But just to try the point, let me do that. So it's going to be record, and it's going to be where's the community union. Here it is. So we can even create a function or something like that, and we can do that. So the action check should be the same. So class, community, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm still not convinced by this again. So I need to check. I need to double check this. But yeah, I don't want you to to be looking at me for the next 30 minutes to just create the test and all that stuff. We have identified where the issue is and what the possible solution is. We covered with unit test, and we basically now just need to raise a PR and get some feedback on this. All right. So, is there any question? I imagine not anything.
There's nothing on YouTube.
Yeah. This topic is not really, like attractive or anything. So, but yeah, this is again one of these the small details matter in a programming language where you want to really be friendly and you want to be useful for everyone. The less surprises, the better. And I think with attribute targets, there's always, at least in my experience for now, everything seems to be a surprise. Even looking at the Stack Overflow issues created a decade ago, there was people saying, "Hey, why can't I use I don't know, a interface attribute and an enum, or why can I? How is this possible?" And there's even some runtime errors happening because of the wrongly use of the attribute. So, yeah, this is the goal of what I have been doing with these enforced attribute targets. But yeah, if there is no other question, I will, sure, if as I don't have anything else to share with you today, I'm going to leave it here. So thank you very much for, for being in the session. And yep, this will be available in YouTube. So you want to rewatch it in the future or want to learn how to contribute to the abstract compiler, look at the previous sessions that we had. So we had sessions, for different range of topics. We had tooling with Rider, with Visual Studio Code, with Visual Studio. We had, parser recovery. We had about how can you improve the IntelliSense. We had the F# review. We had the team talk about what was in F# 8. We had different sessions that I think, this will really is trying to amplify the F# community is a diverse community in terms of, we can all help each other to make this community or this language to be still relevant. And yeah, we shouldn't be waiting for any foundation or for any big company to improve or to do something that if we can do it. So yeah, the last session, or one of the last sessions we had was about tree-sitter. Tree-sitter is one of the things that is really it is really popular, relevant in the last maybe year or so because of the rise of new editors like Set, like any other Neobeam and all of that they use. If you want to have a really good experience there, the language needs to have a tree-sitter implementation. So if you are watching this and you want to have that experience, you want to contribute to the tree-sitter F#, please watch the session and reach out to the maintainer of that project so we can keep improving this. But yeah, with that said, thank you very much. Thank you, David, and we'll see you in the next one.